Hello everyone. We've taken a look at offer and the essentials of a valid offer, and in this video we'll be looking at acceptance and essentials of valid acceptance. All of us know by now that an agreement is formed when one party makes an offer and the opposite party or the party to whom the offer is made, when that party accepts the offer, an agreement is formed. So let's look at what we mean by acceptance of offer and essentials of a valid offer. Let's look at the definition of acceptance. Section 2B of the Indian Contract Act 1872 defines acceptance as when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, becomes a promise. Let's look at the elements of acceptance coming up next. So if we break up that definition of acceptance, we are able to understand some important points relating to acceptance of an offer, or I would say they are elements of acceptance. That once accepted, a proposal gives rise to a legally binding relationship. Only when the person to whom the offer is made accepts it, at that time an agreement is formed, and so only the person to whom the offer is made can accept it. No one else can accept it. And acceptance may be express or implied, just like an offer may be express or implied. So essentially, acceptance means giving a nod to the offer. Just to recap, an offer is made by a person, and as part of that offer, a person may indicate his willingness to do something or to abstain from doing something with the objective of obtaining the assent of the opposite party to such an act or abstinence. Let's consider the essentials of valid acceptance now. Acceptance can be given after receiving the proposal. This means that you cannot accept a proposal without even knowing about it. Now, this can be explained with reference to a case in which a child went missing, and the family spent a lot of time looking for the child, and the servant of the family also went in search of the child. Now, after seeing that their efforts have not yielded any results, the family decided to announce a reward of a certain amount to anyone who finds their child. The servant had already left before this offer was made. When he returned home with the child, he came to know about this prize money which had been announced, and he demanded it. But he wasn't given that money, saying that the offer was made after he left. So when he went to court on this matter, court also gave a decision saying that the servant cannot demand money towards a prize which was announced by the family, which in the form of an offer to anyone who finds their child, mainly because he did not know about the offer. So he could not have accepted an offer which he did not know of. So in order to accept a proposal, you should have first received the offer or should have known about it ahead of time. Now, who should you communicate your acceptance to? when you communicate your acceptance, it must be communicated to the person who makes the offer, that is the offerer or the promiser or the proposer himself, or his agent if that offer has been made through the agent. Now, let's consider this, that whenever if you are entering into, say, a contract whereby you're renting a house. So, if the landlord, you know him personally or have come to know that he wants to rent out his house, you accept the offer by letting the landlord know directly because he's the one making the offer. But if the landlord has appointed a real estate agent to help him to find a tenant, then you may communicate your acceptance of the offer by telling the agent, because he is authorized to do it by the offerer. So, an offer must be communicated to the person who's making the offer or to his agent if it is communicated through the agent. Valid acceptance is when acceptance is absolute and unconditional. There should be no counter offer. That is, if A says that I want to sell my car for rupees 4 lakhs, and if B says I accept your offer to sell your car and I will buy it for rupees 3 lakhs, then this is not acceptance. This is a counter offer. When I say absolute and unconditional acceptance, I mean that it should be in line with the offer that is made. All terms and conditions set out in the offer must be accepted by the opposite party. Now, look at this. If you are booking a ticket with an airline, you may or may not be informed about the terms and conditions which are applicable to you as a flyer. But when you book the ticket, you decide to book and you pay the amount, that means you have accepted the terms and conditions as they were. You cannot say, I want to take more baggage, I want to be allowed more cabin luggage, I can check in half an hour before the flight. So, acceptance is always absolute and unqualified, unconditional. Just like an offer can be express or implied, acceptance can be express or implied. So, if you receive an offer letter for a job, you write an email communicating to the offerer that you will be able to join services after you complete 1 month's notice or 3 months notice with your current employer. That is an express acceptance because you are giving it in written form. Now, if you decide to use a vending machine, by putting money into the vending machine, you are accepting the offer which the company which has placed that vending machine is making to you. So, acceptance may be express or implied. While acceptance can be express or implied, acceptance cannot be implied from silence. Usually, this misnomer goes around. That is, when you are silent, it means that you agree to whatever I say. But in commercial contracts, in case of formal offers or offers which are made with the intent to establish a legal relationship, acceptance cannot be implied from silence. Acceptance must be given within a prescribed time limit, wherever such a time limit is prescribed, or within a reasonable time limit. Now, if you know that there is a sale and that sale is for 1 week or 3 days, then you have to accept the prices which are on the rate at which items are being sold, or the offer to buy those items at that particular price within those days. A prescribed time limit could also be when you are given a job offer, you are required to communicate your acceptance within 7 days or 2 weeks, and in a prescribed manner. So you would have to do that within that time limit. Otherwise, you cannot claim that you can join that job later if you have not communicated. So it should be communicated within a reasonable time. If the prescribed time limit is not mentioned, reasonable time limit depends upon what you are talking about, and what is the matter under consideration. So a reasonable time limit obviously would not run into many months, it would not run into many years. It has to be completed within certain number of days or weeks of time. So you all know this, if you use the services of a laundry, that if you do not collect your clothes within a certain time period, then you lose the right to go and even ask for that. And usually that is printed at the back of your receipt which the laundry issues to you. So a reasonable time limit, a prescribed time limit, all these apply in case of acceptance of an offer. So this, prospectus, when it is issued by a company, that you have to apply within a certain time. You cannot do it after the offer closes. Acceptance must be given in the prescribed mode or reasonable mode where the mode is not prescribed. So as I mentioned that if you receive an offer letter from a prospective employer, ideally you should communicate your acceptance in writing. If you say, okay, I just went and met the manager and I orally told him, then that might not really be a reasonable mode or prescribed mode of acceptance. So usually how you should accept may be mentioned in the offer, or a reasonable mode could be something which usually, if you write and you accept an offer, people might not find it very odd. So another reasonable mode of acceptance may be, as I mentioned, in case of implied acceptance, by going and swiping your card at an ATM, or going and putting a coin in the vending machine. You are communicating your acceptance in a reasonable mode or a prescribed mode. And so this may be through your conduct or by actual performance. That is, you get onto a bus of the public transportation company, and when the ticket collector comes around, you pay him the amount, you tell him your destination. So this is also by conduct, or by actually performing what you need to do as a passenger in order to accept the offer. Acceptance must be given before the offer lapses or it is revoked. That is, this is usually in case of time bound offers, which I said, like if it is a public offer, subscription to shares and debentures, you have to subscribe before the offer closes, or you can say you must accept an offer to buy products at a discounted rate while the sale is on. The offer stands revoked after that sale period is over. So this is how acceptance must be given before the offer lapses or before it is revoked. So thank you everyone. I hope this video helped you to understand acceptance of an offer and essentials of a valid acceptance. This lesson was created by me, Dr. Mariam Narona, and I'm sure it will be of great help to all students who are studying the Indian Contract Act. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like the content on my channel, please do subscribe, and don't forget to comment and leave your feedback. Thank you.